It is always important to structure your automation scripts as good as possible, but it is even more important when you start working with complex C# logic. In this video, I'm going to show you what you can do in your automation scripts to have your script easily maintainable and readable. Creating readable and maintainable scripts is very important. When you're adding a lot of C# logic to your script, they can become quite big, and it's very important that they are well structured. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can leverage the script class to be able to start adding additional classes and methods to your script to make your code easily readable. So before I start showing you a script that I created, let me first connect to DataMiner Cube and show you how we added C# in a script before when we were using the editor in DataMiner Cube. So we actually already created a couple of singular live scripts, and this one was created using a C# action to be able to add an overlay in singular live. As you can see, we added all our C# code in here without any methods or classes. Why can we do it like this? Because when we execute our script, DataMiner will then automatically wrap this code in a run method in a script class. Note that we can only do this if all our code can actually be added in one method. Now, if I would start extending the script even further, you'll see, although I added some comments, that this is quite unreadable and it's hard to go through. If I want to find a specific thing, I need to start at the beginning and go through my code until I find what I need. What I will do now, or what I have done, and I'll show you how I did it, is I will create or show a new script that will first of all in singular live start a new flow for the app that I want to. This is still hard coded in the script. And then what it will do next is, if this flow is running in the VLC element, it will create a new stream or start running a new stream to be able to stream to that flow that I created. So let me show you the script in Visual Studio and let's see how I structured this code. So this is the script I created already before. So I gave it a singular live new stream name, and there are two dummies, a singular live one to be able to interact with my singular live element, and a VLC one to interact with the VLC element. So I have one action in here, which is C#. If I now open this up, so I can do that by clicking this icon, then DIS opens a new window with the C# class for my automation script C# action. So if I now scroll down a bit, you will see that my code is no longer unstructured like this, all statements below one another, but I'm actually using the script class, and my script, when it starts, it will initiate the run method and pass along the engine object. This object is actually the one that I use to interact with DataMiner, with elements, with whatever in my script. So the first thing I did here is add two flags, no key caching and no checking sets. So this one we have already used in the past. Basically, whenever I do a set on an element in my script, I don't want DataMiner to check if the read parameter changed. Why don't I want this? Because in this case, I implemented that myself in my script, but I don't want it to crash. And then no key caching is a specific one. Whenever you request keys, so primary keys from a table in an automation script, the keys will be cached, meaning if I ask or retrieve them later on in my script, I will get the same response from the initial time that I did this request. In my case, I don't want that, so I add this flag. What it will do then is each time I request primary keys from a table, it will actually get them from the element itself and not from cache. Why is this not the default behavior? Because this is of course less performant. I need this because I'm actually adding a new row to a table, and I need to be able to check if that row exists and get some data from that row. So because I'm using the script class and the run method, I can actually structure my code a lot better. So the first thing I want to do is actually initialize my singular live and my VLC objects. So I actually have a separate method for that will actually initialize both of them and will return false in case I could not do this. For example, singular life, I actually created a class for both of these. So if I go to the singular life class, it has some parameter IDs in there, and in the constructor I simply get the dummy element that I provide when I run my script, and I check if it's active or not. In case it's not active, it will throw an exception and I'll already leave my script here and don't do anything else. Let's say if both are fine, then there are two main actions that I need to do. First of all, create a new flow. So for that I created a separate method in my singular life class where I pass along the app ID. So in this case, that is the ID of this app. And I pass along the URL that I want to stream to from singular life. In this case, this is all hard coded, but of course, if we would further extend this script, we would be able to add this as input. So a user can define which app ID he wants to use and which URL he wants to stream to, for example. So once this succeeds, I go to the next step, and now I need to start streaming to singular life. For that, I need to select the file that I want to stream, again hard-coded, and the input stream. This input stream can only be known once this flow is created. So what I do for that is first of all check if there is no active flow already. So when there would be a flow already in this table, I will not continue. Then I will generate a new flow and check if my flow is actually running. So what I do here is actually check every second or so for a max amount of 30 seconds to see if a row is added and if the status becomes running. Once that's the case, I can actually get the input stream URL because that's something I get back from the singular life API. And then I update that property in my object. Once this is created, I can then start a new VLC stream where I provide the input stream, and basically this will then start streaming to singular life. So as you can see, there is quite some code in here, but because I use script class and I actually create my own classes, add my own methods, this code is well structured. So let me now publish this to my DataMiner and actually check if this is working. So let's select that script. Okay. What I also always do, and is just a habit, is validating if my code is actually building correctly or compiling correctly. So if I click validate, DataMiner will check if there aren't any errors. It could be that I'm using some DLL here that I didn't have available on my DataMiner for some reason. So it's good practice to check this, and I actually have some errors now. So if I click here, I can see what the actual errors are, and it is because Newtonsoft is not known. That's because I didn't reference this DLL yet in my script. So there's two ways of doing that. I can either do it in DataMiner Cube here in the advanced options and add the DLL reference here. But for now, I'll show you instead how you can add this inside Visual Studio. What I could also do is add it and then import my script, but I already have it here. So if I actually close this value part, you can see I can link additional namespaces. That's something you will never do if you work with the script class, because all your namespaces or usings are referenced here. But what I want to do is add a DLL reference. So I'll add this and uncomment this part. And now this DLL will be referenced for my C# code. So if I now publish my script again, and of course close this and reopen the automation app, go back to my script. Now you will notice that in the advanced, I have this DLL configured, and if I now validate, there shouldn't be any errors anymore. So let's now execute our script and see if it works as expected. So first I need to select the singular life element and the VLC mainstream element and click execute now. So what it will do now is create, first of all, a new flow in Singular Live. So because I need this input stream URL, and I'm waiting until the status changes to running. After that, I can start a new stream, which is now already running here because I basically took the next available stream and passed along this input stream URL. So now my script has actually executed correctly and everything is set up. As you can see, by using the script class and adding my own classes and methods in the script, it's fairly easy to navigate in the script, and it's easily maintainable if I would need to add any additional action in the future.